The Dark Eagle can fly. Those words are music to the ears of anyone who's watched China boast about dominating the hypersonic race. For years, Beijing's relentless investments and rapid advancements left the US playing catch-up. The US officials even openly admitted it, claiming that China's systems and infrastructure outpace everyone, including Russia. But that era is over. After years of watching Beijing claim the lead, the US has answered with something that does more than just compete, it obliterates everything and everyone in its path. The Dark Eagle isn't just a missile, it's proof that when America shows up, it shows up swinging. Here's everything you need to know about this impressive weapon that China is entirely defenseless against. Officially known as the Long-Range Hypersonic Weapon, LRHW, the Dark Eagle is a surface-to-surface missile system built for speed, precision, and power. This land-based, truck-launched hypersonic marvel is engineered to deliver devastating strikes at intermediate ranges, giving the US a clear edge in modern warfare. This much-needed edge is the result of a powerful collaboration between the US Army and Navy. Each of these branches contributed its unique expertise to create this game-changing weapon. The Navy might refer to it under a different name, the Conventional Prompt Strike System, but the essence of the missile remains the same. This missile is also making a name for itself as the missile to beat. The partnership between the Army and Navy began in 2018, when the latter was tasked with leading the design of the Common Hypersonic Glide Body, with significant input from the former's Rapid Capabilities and Critical Technologies Office. This joint effort has been crucial in advancing hypersonic technology. Vice Admiral Johnny Wolf Jr. of the Navy's Strategic Systems Program couldn't have put it better, calling the collaboration a demonstration of how both branches can come together to develop a transformational weapon system. The result of this collaboration? A missile designed for both land and sea platforms. While the Army prepares to deploy the Dark Eagle, the Navy is integrating its own version into surface and subsurface platforms, ensuring the US military's reach will be felt far and wide. So what did the brilliant minds from these two branches come up with? A design that's testament to cutting-edge engineering, of course. The Dark Eagle combines the best of both advanced propulsion and hypersonic glide technology. At its core, the missile consists of a large rocket booster that carries the unpowered Common Hypersonic Glide Body, CHGB, in its nose cone. Once the booster propels the missile to incredible speeds and altitudes, it releases the CHGB, which then glides towards its target at hypersonic speeds, leaving anything in its path vulnerable to its kinetic energy warhead. This design draws on decades of innovation. The CHGB is actually based on earlier projects like the Army's Alternate Re-Entry System, which was tested in early 2010. This technology in turn traces its roots to the Sandia Winged Energetic Re-Entry Vehicle Experiment, SWERV, from the 1980s. With Dynetics responsible for building the glide vehicle and Lockheed Martin tasked with constructing the booster and handling missile assembly, the Dark Eagle represents the culmination of years of research and collaboration from some of the most trusted names in defense technology. And that's what makes it truly special and stand out in the hypersonic world. The US's goal wasn't to put out one hypersonic weapon after another in some desperate scramble. Rather than rushing and flooding the market with unreliable and incomplete systems, the US took its time to create the Dark Eagle, and its specifications show this. The Dark Eagle's boost glide technology allows it to reach unimaginable speeds. The speed in question is up to Mach 17. That's 17 times the speed of sound, or 12,940 miles per hour. At this speed, the Dark Eagle doesn't just break the sound barrier, it shatters it, leaving any attempt at defense in the dust, right where any Chinese assets targeted by this missile will find themselves. But the speed isn't the only impressive thing about the Dark Eagle. With an operational range of over 1,724 miles, the Dark Eagle has the longest reach of any land-based strike system in the US inventory. This range means that the Dark Eagle can strike high-value, time-critical targets from a distance with unparalleled precision. Whether it's a heavily fortified military installation or a critical command center, the Dark Eagle's warhead will deliver a devastating blow exactly where it's needed. What truly sets the Dark Eagle apart, however, is its maneuverability and survivability. Its hypersonic glide body can evade even the most advanced air defenses, ensuring it can reach its targets in the most contested environments. This includes even anti-access area denial A2AD zones, where traditional strike capabilities are often rendered useless. The fact that the Dark Eagle can penetrate A2AD zones is of immense importance, given that China continues to enhance its anti-access area denial capabilities. So far, these capabilities have dramatically altered the balance of power in the Indo-Pacific. Thanks to a web of advanced anti-ship ballistic missiles, anti-ship cruise missiles, surface-to-air missiles, and a robust fleet of submarines and fighter jets, China has designed a mighty defense network intended to keep foreign military forces at bay, especially the US. And that's the primary goal of China's A2AD systems, to prevent or at least complicate any foreign intervention in key regions like the Taiwan Strait, by denying adversaries the ability to operate freely in these contested zones. But there's no denying it when it comes to the Dark Eagle. Its speed and maneuverability allow it to outpace and evade the sophisticated missile defense systems embedded within China's A2AD strategy, such as the S-400 missile system or the DF-21D anti-ship ballistic missile. And that was precisely the goal of the Dark Eagle, to ensure no one can stop the US. With China racing to field hypersonic weapons, the US recognized the need to stay ahead in this rapidly evolving arms race, a very dangerous race at that. For the US, the development of the Dark Eagle and other hypersonic weapons became a matter of national security and strategic advantage. That's why the entire country rejoiced once it was announced the Dark Eagle completed a successful end-to-end flight test on December 12, 2024. This monumental test demonstrated the missile's extraordinary capabilities, not just in terms of its raw speed, but also its precision, maneuverability, and ability to navigate hostile environments. The test was the culmination of years of rigorous research and development, and it marked a major step towards securing a technological advantage for the US military in an increasingly contested global landscape. But before exploring this test in more detail, it's important to note that it was just the latest in a series of increasingly successful milestones, each one propelling the missile closer to operational status. The journey began in October 2017, when the first test of the Dark Eagle took place. The missile, designed to fit the launch tube of an Ohio-class ballistic missile submarine, was fired from Hawaii and flew over 2,000 nautical miles to the Marshall Islands at hypersonic speeds. The initial flight was a significant proof of concept, demonstrating that a missile could travel at extreme speeds while maintaining accuracy over such a vast distance. The results were promising, and the development team knew they were on the right track. But they also knew that much more testing would be needed to fine-tune the technology. Fast forward to March 2020, when the CHGB, a key component of the Dark Eagle system, underwent another round of testing. During this period, subsystems of the LRHW system were tested as part of Project Convergence 2022, a critical testing program aimed at advancing the Army's capabilities. These tests focused on refining the missile's components and ensuring they could work in unison, setting the stage for future end-to-end tests. This phase was crucial for demonstrating how the missile would perform in real-world operational conditions. Then came June 28, 2024, another pivotal moment in the Dark Eagle's development. On this day, the US Department of Defense announced the successful completion of an end-to-end test of the US Army's LRHW All-Up Round or AUR missile and the US Navy's Conventional Prompt Strike missile. Launched from the Pacific Missile Range Facility in Kauai, Hawaii, the missile hit its target over 2,000 miles away in the Marshall Islands. This successful flight was a clear demonstration of the missile's capability to operate at hypersonic speeds over great distances and confirmed that the technology was maturing rapidly. With this test, the system was beginning to prove its worth not just on paper, but in practice. But it was the second successful flight in December 2024 that really grabbed everyone's attention. This test, conducted at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida, was monumental for several reasons. First, it marked the first live-fire event of the missile using a ground-based launcher and a battery operations center, a key step in demonstrating the Dark Eagle's operational readiness. The missile then flew at hypersonic speeds, more than 5 times the speed of sound, and successfully struck a target over long distances. As a result, this test proved that the entire missile system was functioning as intended, not just individual components. The Pentagon quickly hailed the test as a major milestone, signaling that the weapon was getting closer to being combat-ready. Secretary of the Army Christine Wormuth celebrated the achievement, saying, "This test builds on several flight tests and demonstrates that we can put this capability in the hands of the warfighter." She emphasized that the successful flight showed the missile's potential to be integrated into the Army's arsenal. Secretary of the Navy Carlos Del Toro also voiced strong support, highlighting that the test was a crucial step toward integrating the hypersonic missile into both Navy surface and subsurface ships. But while this test was a significant leap forward, it's not the end of the road. The US military is already looking ahead to the next phases of development. The Pentagon is gearing up for what's known as Hypersonics 2.0 and 3.0, an ambitious plan to refine and expand the capabilities of hypersonic weapons. These phases will focus not just on the weapons themselves, but also how they will integrate into the broader military strategy. This particularly applies to how these weapons fit into what's referred to as a kill web. The kill web is a multi-layered approach to warfare, where various assets from land, sea, air, space, and cyberspace work together to create an interconnected system of attack. As Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Admiral Christopher Grady notes, hypersonic weapons will not only help the US strike adversary targets, but also defend against hypersonic weapons from other nations. This dual capability is critical as China continues to push forward with its own hypersonic missile program. In terms of specific milestones, the first LRHW battery, which includes 8 missiles, was deployed in 2023. This deployment is a critical step toward full operational capability for the US Army, with an expected timeline of 1 to 2 years for achieving full readiness. Once operational, the LRHW will be positioned in Germany to counter advanced threats, including Russia's Oreshnik hypersonic complex, as tensions in Europe remain high. The Navy, too, is preparing to integrate hypersonic capabilities into its fleet. The Navy plans to deploy the missiles on its Zumwalt-class destroyers by 2025. This move will greatly enhance the service's ability to strike targets at long range in an increasingly competitive global landscape. The Navy also intends to deploy the weapon aboard the Block 5 Virginia-class submarines by 2029, providing a stealthy, undersea launch option for hypersonic weapons. This means that China and other US adversaries won't be safe anywhere, not in the air, not on the ground, not in the sea. Of course, China won't just sit idly by. The country has already been advancing its missile defense and air defense capabilities rapidly. The Dark Eagle's debut will only push China to escalate its efforts further. With this in mind, let's see what the Dark Eagle is currently up against. China has spent years developing a range of technologies aimed at enhancing its ability to defend against missiles, particularly in the face of perceived threats from the US, Russia, and increasingly India. Beijing has several defense systems in place or under development, including ground-based mid-course interceptors like the Dongning-3 DN3 and the HQ-19, which are designed to intercept ballistic missiles during their mid-course and terminal stages. The DN3, a hit-to-kill interceptor, and the HQ-19, derived from the HQ-9, are often compared to US systems like the Standard Missile-3 and THAAD. China's development of ballistic missile defense, BMD, has been strongly influenced by its desire to protect its political leadership, nuclear forces, and key infrastructure from preemptive attacks. The country has made significant progress in developing ASAT, anti-satellite weapons, which share technologies with BMD systems. Both of these systems are part of a multi-layered defense strategy aimed at countering incoming ballistic missiles, but they would struggle to handle hypersonic threats like the Dark Eagle. The Dark Eagle operates at speeds far beyond the capabilities of China's missile defense technologies. But more importantly, this missile can perform unpredictable maneuvers mid-flight, making it incredibly difficult to track and intercept with traditional ballistic missile defenses and air defense systems. China's current defense systems can't tackle a missile that follows an unpredictable trajectory. They might be capable against slower, more predictable threats. However, they simply don't have the speed, agility, or precision needed to effectively target and intercept a hypersonic missile. But what about China's air defense systems? On the air defense side, China has also invested heavily in advanced systems such as the HQ-9 and the S-400 to defend against a wide variety of threats. This includes missiles, aircraft, and drones. The HQ-9, deployed in contested regions like the South China Sea, and the S-400, a Russian system, have the capability to intercept shorter-range ballistic missiles as well as cruise missiles. However, these systems are primarily designed to counter traditional air and missile threats, not high-speed, maneuvering hypersonic missiles like the Dark Eagle. China's lack of a robust early warning sensor network is another significant gap in its air defense architecture. While the country has made strides in developing satellites for missile detection, it still lags behind the US in terms of sensor technology. The radar and satellite infrastructure needed to detect and track hypersonic missiles in real time is still in its infancy. This places China at a significant disadvantage when it comes to defending against advanced threats like the Dark Eagle. Still, China is moving forward with the development of systems like the HQ-26, a naval missile defense interceptor. It's also exploring ways to integrate more advanced sensors and radars into its existing systems. However, much of this technology is still in the testing and development phase, and its effectiveness against hypersonic threats has yet to be proven. In other words, none of China's existing defense systems are well suited to handle the unique characteristics the Dark Eagle brings to the table. The speed, maneuverability, and unpredictability of this system places it well beyond the capabilities of China's entire missile defense infrastructure. As a result, if the US were to use the Dark Eagle against China, there would be little to no chance of interception or effective countermeasures. The Dark Eagle would strike any target within minutes, rendering China's defense systems obsolete before they even had a chance to react. And these targets, whether military aircraft, radar systems, or key infrastructure, would be reduced to dust almost instantaneously. But that's just how the Dark Eagle will perform against China. What about other nations with hypersonic capabilities? As you can probably guess from all the mentions in this video, Russia is another major contender in the hypersonic race. Around the time the Dark Eagle was successfully tested for the second time in 2024, Russia's President Vladimir Putin went on an entire campaign to showcase Russia's own hypersonic missile, the Oreshnik. Now it's hard to miss Putin's confidence in this missile, as he's practically shouting from the rooftops about how amazing it is. According to him, this missile, which strikes at speeds of Mach 10, can render any countermeasures completely useless. Putin even had the audacity to suggest that the Oreshnik could make nuclear weapons obsolete, boasting that it's basically untouchable by modern air defenses. However, while the Oreshnik reportedly boasts impressive speed and power, it doesn't quite match the Dark Eagle in terms of versatility. Though it's still unclear whether the Dark Eagle is nuclear capable like the Oreshnik, this doesn't make it any less lethal. Its focus on sheer precision and speed makes it a devastating weapon on its own, even if it does have a non-nuclear status. Plus, the US has a clear edge when it comes to integrating these weapons into a full-spectrum military strategy, allowing the Dark Eagle to leave the Oreshnik in the dust too. When it comes to missile defenses, Russia fields two notable systems, the S-400 and the S-500. We've already discussed the incompetence of the S-400 to counter the Dark Eagle, but what about its more advanced counterpart? Well, on paper, the S-500 is capable of intercepting hypersonic weapons, but let's be real, Russian systems always look great on paper, but when it comes to the actual test of battle, they fall short. The truth is that in practice, the S-500 is still unproven. Perhaps it could be adapted to intercept hypersonic missiles, but tackling such a sophisticated high-speed weapon like the Dark Eagle is a whole other beast. In contrast, the US is far more advanced in hypersonic defense and missile defense overall. The ground-based mid-course defense (GMD) system, Aegis BMD, and a more mature space-based tracking infrastructure place the US ahead of China and Russia in terms of missile defense coverage as well. The US also maintains sea-based missile defense systems that enhance its ability to track and intercept threats. More importantly, there are ongoing efforts to build defenses against weapons that travel at speeds surpassing Mach 5. In other words, the US isn't just looking to maintain its lead, it's actively working on expanding its edge, both in offense and defense. But where do you see this hypersonic race heading next? Will China or Russia be able to develop effective defenses against the Dark Eagle, or are we witnessing the dawn of a new era where the US military once again holds the upper hand? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Now go and check out New US Bomb Can Turn Any Chinese Ship into a Submarine, or click this other video instead.